Welcome to Sports Cruise live on mainland 98.3 FM. I feel so good being on the show today. I don't know, maybe because it's the last edition of the show for the week, and I'm super excited. Joining you today as you're driving home. I know the road is in traffic, but I know that some part of Lagos today, no matter how you do it, even if you ban cars on the road of Lagos, you see those Okokomaiko first stack place, there's always traffic in that place. So if you're listening to me from that axis of Lagos, I would be your companion. It's a Friday edition of the show, the 6th day of the 6th month. Put out anywhere. We have all of the talks, all of the banter, all of the points, the stats, the numbers, and the conversation that would engage you from 6 to 7 p.m. every Monday to Friday. They always make it happen. I started the show today. One of my favorite Nigerian artists. It kind of fizzled away, but hey, recently dropped a song, a single, and talking about his rehabilitation story. Talking about Solista. He gave us some amazing debia. I'm sure the guys in the show will be like, who in heaven's name is Solista? You will not understand. You people are Gen Z. Some of us are old men. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday night was a splendor. It was a fantastic game of football. A game of 9 goals. I eventually had the defending champion of the European Championship, talking about Spain. A date with destiny. Maybe the oldest best player in the world versus the youngest best player, Cristiano Ronaldo, versus Lamine Yamal. It is Portugal versus Spain for the final of the UEFA Nations League on Sunday. Of course, earlier, before the final, we'll see the third place match between Germany and France. Oh, yes. And it is the very first time in a very long time that would have the world number 1 and world number 2 squaring it up in the finals. We'll talk about all of that also on the show today. For Lorenzo Musetti, he had to pull out of his semi-final, unfortunately for him. And hey, guess who is in the final again? Carlos Alcaraz is through to the final of the French. Is solid. By the way, again, the top 3 players at the last Olympics, 4 of them have made it, 3 of them rather, plus the world champion, have made it to the final 4 of this year's Roland Garros. We give you something in Fritz. I don't know what the deal is. 150 million pounds, 130 million pounds, whatever it is that Liverpool are looking for in that player. I hope they find it. Well, it looks like also. You people are always looking for what is not missing. What do you mean by whatever? Exactly what Sᴘᴏʀᴜns mean. Whatever Liverpool. Mic here. I'll off your mic. Man, you don't open it for me.
So first of all, at the beginning of the show,
down low.
You gave me a below the belt.
There's always first tag there.
So because I still
even during COVID, when there's nationwide lockdown, to trek at first tag, you cannot walk fast.
This is the second time now. Imagine. Don't worry, it's your turn to shine.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's already a sack before the start of the season, and guess where that sack is coming from? They said he's a man that went against the constitution of the club by winning a trophy, the first trophy in 17 years, the first major trophy in over 40 years. Ladies and gentlemen, Tottenham have sacked Ange Postecoglou, the man that won the Europa League for them just a few weeks ago. This show is going to be bumper packed, I promise you. Well, the Super Eagles of Nigeria also playing a friendly international with Russia. Yes, Russia, you heard. Somebody said, she won in Jubombo, we don't play. It's Moscow. And funny enough, give you all of those. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Coco Gauff versus world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka in the French Open's final. And who gets that?
In UEFA Nations League semi-final, the European champions against the most recent World Cup finalists, Lamine Yamal against Ousmane Dembélé, Spain against France. It is a fixture that is rich with both storylines and recent history. Smashes Spain in front with conviction. And one of their heroes from 12 months ago in this country has just cracked the European champions into a first half lead. And here comes Spain again with Mikel Moreno, and it is 2-0. Just like that, Spain pull the rug from beneath France's feet. A tribute once more in this stadium to his dad, who scored a big goal here for Osasuna in the UEFA Cup all the way back in 1991. This is beautiful. That is a brilliant goal, finished by Deanhausen. And to the disappointment of Spain and probably quite a few neutrals, the offside flag is going to deny a piece of art.
Oh, that belongs in a museum. That was tremendous.
Nico Williams giving it to Lamine Yamal as this is moments. It's a penalty. Rabiot too close to Lamine Yamal. The story between those two goes on. Penalty stands. Here he comes, the teenager. That was never in doubt. 17 years old. We all know it, but we still can't fathom it. The already unmistakable Lamine Yamal sweeps Spain into a 3-0 lead. This is Nico Williams. This is going to get worse for France. It's 4-0 Spain. Petri showing calmness personified. France are crumbling to pieces in Stuttgart. Mbappe, that might be a...
You can never write Mbappe off, can you?
Michael Oliver has given his second penalty inside the space of 10 minutes. Can't stop Mbappe. That's one back for France.
Lovely approach there. Bit of a stagger. Gives ᴑᴜᴜ the eyes and sends him the wrong way.
Mendy curling it beautifully into the heart of Pedro Porro. And down for Lamine Yamal! The sort of goal that has Ballon d'Or written all over it. In his tender years, he already looks a generational talent. And everybody on the globe knows his name. Shaki! That's tremendous! And of all the brilliance tonight, Augusto himself admits he's had a difficult season with his club side Chelsea, but he's on the end of the return pass, Gusto, and he's provided France with another goal. It's gone in off Vivian, it's an own goal. And surely this isn't the start of the great Nations League recovery, is it?
Well, it's certainly exciting, isn't it? Oh my goodness!
Well, an amazing night. Shirky.
Hello, my name is Godwin Enoch and I'm a broadcast journalist. Yes, my friend will tell me that I am a sport administrator by accident. Listen every day of the weekday to Sports Cruise on Mainland FM. God bless you.
Nobody said she give me chance. Nobody said she take my name to Babalawo house. I miss her for the wonder why. Say I am them why they single every day for my songs. Yeah, now you they make my belly full, Ali baby, you they make my head spell, So, can you believe me when I say, now you there for my brain, I know they visiting you every day. Girl, I know they concentrate,
Ladies and gentlemen, mainland 98.3 FM Sports Cruise here to stay. Will not steal your heart and run away, because Monday to Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. will always be here to be a part of your evening as you drive home. You know, like I said, the people around Festac are angry at me. That why am I? But the truth of the matter is that they are beating France by 5-4. Spain, in a sensation. Lamine Yamal inspired his country to a thrilling 5-4 win over France yesterday to send the orders through to the third successive Nations League final, where they will face Portugal. The European champ player Mikel Merino inside the first 25 minutes. Spain's 17-year-old starlet Lamine Yamal got on the act as he coolly had a third from the penalty spot 9 minutes into the second half before his Barcelona teammate Pedri clipped a sublime fall into the net less than a minute later. Well, the goals continued to flow as France striker Kylian Mbappé also slotted from home at the penalty spot near the hour mark before Lamine Yamal added Spain's fifth to restore a 4-0 lead after 67 minutes to cap and accelerating it. Dani Vivian's own goal and Randa Colomwani's finish cost Spain some late jitters, but they held back to book a clash in the final against Portugal on Sunday. Massive night of football. Agbatomi, let me get you struck. Has done enough to get into the Ballon d'Or conversation in Lamine Yamal, and a man that felt like is a boys quarter entrant into the Ballon d'Or conversation. That's Ousmane Dembélé, by becoming the best player in the world in 2025, also winning the quadruple with PSG, including the UEFA Champions League. There's also the European Golden Boot winner Kylian Mbappé.
Well, obviously delivered. I mean, you rarely see a game that finishes with 9 goals. To be honest,
imagine scoring 4 goals and not winning. It's just like France at the World Cup final as well.
Exactly. So I think this was a game for the ages. A lot of people really didn't expect that we're going to be seeing a 9-goal thriller. I mean, but you take a look at the attack line of both of them. Their worldies. As a matter of fact, we had about 8 French players that were involved in the UEFA Champions League final that took place a couple of weeks ago between Inter Milan as well as PSG. And for us, was very important for Spain yesterday. But Okwemi, if before yesterday people didn't expect or believe Spain to be the favorite heading into the World Cup next year, I think their minds will have changed from seeing that performance. That was a 5-star performance from the Spanish national team.
With 5 goals?
Yes, with 5 goals. Okwemi could even get any goal. As a matter of fact, France's first goal was via the penalty spot because Kylian Mbappé was brought down. And Okwemi, just like Lamine Yamal said as well before the game, he said this game was not going to determine whoever was going to win the Ballon d'Or. But then people were going to see the stuff was made of.
I would not decide. Somebody, tweeted at me yesterday night, and it says, "Oh, we should settle the matter. The matter has been settled for after the game." And I'm like, hold up, I'm not going to use a game to decide where the Ballon d'Or. But I just love the build up to it.
The game.
I love the fact that Lamine Yamal raised a challenge and he took up that challenge.
Yeah, he worked
2 solid goals. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the final on Sunday. Well, let's leave that. When we got to the football segment of the show, I would certainly dig deep into that. Would also preview the final between Spain and Portugal. Like I said, arguably the oldest best player in the world in Cristiano Ronaldo versus the youngest best player in the world in Lamine Yamal. 40 versus 17, 2 massive generation apart. But let's see who's going to embrace the big stage on a Sunday. Well, we'll just keep that to one side. Let's talk about a...
Super Eagles, let the road for Super Eagles. I say clear the road for Super Eagles. Super Eagles are the green, white, green are the color. Sarah, anybody will cash for road, Sarah. If you cash Argentina, no Sarah. Anybody will cash for road, Sarah. Because we go teach them a lesson, no I say people them, put them for Golo, Jara. If you know one come up for road, Yawa. People them, put them for Golo, Jara. If you know one come up for road, Nayawa. Clear the road for Super Eagles. Clear the road for Super Eagles.
All right, ladies and and gentlemen, the Super Eagles of Nigeria are flying after the Unity Cup win in London as they head to Moscow on Friday night to play Russia. The Super Eagles of Nigeria head to Moscow this evening for the first ever senior international match against Russia at Luzhniki Stadium. The Iṛsᴛ side are once again missing many of their star players. It's edged out rival Ghana at the Brentford GTEC Community Stadium before holding their nerves to defeat Jamaica 5-4 on penalties and the following a thrilling 2-0 draw after extra time. They are now unbeaten in their last 6 matches across all competitions, though they still saw their World Cup qualification hit in a match with a disappointing draw against Zimbabwe that followed a comfortable victory against Rwanda. They faced Rwanda again and also South Africa in key matches in September, but still compete in a friendly match and have won 5-0 against both Grenada and Zambia earlier in the year, with Zenit Masiskulestrov hitting a hat-trick against Zambia. Followed that particular game. Well, the game is on already, 14 minutes into the game going on, and also as the show is going on. Well, let's run through the starting 11 for both teams. Yes, in goal is Maduka Okoye, Osei Samuel, William Truz-Ekong, Shemilore Ajayi, Bright Onyemechi, Onyeka, Frank Onyeka, Onyedika as well, Uche Dele Bashiru, Neil Savior, Olusegun Arokodare, and of course our own Sikiru Alimi. Well, those are the teams that are set out for Nigeria. Well, for the Russians, there's Gorov, there's Betratov, there's Glebov, there's Miranchuk, there's Kluzhensknovis, there's Komlischenko, and there's Mostrotov. Well, I'm sure some of those names you can't tell me. Tonight, the odds obviously favor Nigeria to win 18-5. So if you're those that always want to put their money where their mouth is, let's get it started. Well, I'm thinking there was going to be an on-Russian striker, but the Russians have cleared it out. We keep you abreast of that particular game as it's going on strong. Super Eagles of Nigeria versus Russia. Here we go.
Let the road for Super Eagles. Super Eagles all the way. Green, white, green are the color. Let the road for Super Eagles. I say let the road for
qualification first round games between Estonia and Israel by 7:45. Norway would also take on Italy by 7:45. In the UEFA first round B qualification, there's North Macedonia versus former world number 1 Belgium, also by 7:45. There's also Wales versus Liechtenstein by 7:45. For the UEFA qualification first round Group L, there's Czechia versus Montenegro. I used to be Serbia and Montenegro. Now there's Serbia, there's Montenegro separately. And of course, still in the same Group L, there's Gibraltar. And of course, for the Group F, there's Suriname versus Puerto Rico. For the Commonwealth qualifications, those games have been decided already. Ecuador at home played a goalless draw against Brazil, and Paraguay defeated Uruguay by versus Peru. And there's also going to be Venezuela versus Bolivia. That game will be by 11 p.m. Some of the friendly matches that have been played earlier today: Gambia defeated Equatorial Guinea by 2-1. Bulgaria and Cyprus also played a 1-1 draw. Burkina Faso defeated minute of that game. By 6:30 is going to be Hungary versus Sweden, and of course the Bafana of South Africa will be hosting Tanzania by 6:30. Scotland and Iceland by 7:45. Burundi and Guinea-Bissau by 8 p.m. and also by 8 p.m. The Cameroonian national team would host Uganda also by 8 p.m. For Niger Republic and Gabon squared out also an international friendly. And Sudan have been cancelled. Please don't ask me out. So much to look out for tonight for those people that are huge fan of football.
Let the road for Super Eagles. Let the road for Super Eagles. Super Eagles all the way.
Of course, because today is Friday, we'll run you through all of the fixtures of games to expect this weekend for Group G of the UEFA qualification. There's going to be Malta versus Lithuania by 5 p.m. tomorrow. There's Bosnia and Herzegovina versus San Marino by 2 p.m. early kickoff tomorrow. There's also Austria versus Romania by 7:45. For the biggest game, it's going to be in Group K between Andorra versus the Three Lions of England by 5 p.m. and Albania and Serbia also. And of course, for the Group B, there's a Trinidad and Tobago and St. Kitts and Nevis. They would also be squaring it out tomorrow in some of those games for the lovers of football. On Sunday, there's going to be the final of the UEFA Nations League by 2 p.m. Well, for the CONCACAF qualification from Group B, there's going to be Bahamas versus Costa Rica rather. There's also going to be Panama versus Belize. Those are the games to expect this weekend in all of the major leagues. The major.
Green, white, green, the color. Clear the road for Super Eagles. I say clear the road for Super Eagles.
And one would come back on the turn of 6:45. I beg your pardon. I would analyze some of the key games to look out for this weekend. But let's quickly go on a very short music break. One would come back. It is the Roland Garros massive weekend.
Hello, my name is Cʀᴜɪ紛 and I'm a broadcast journalist. Yes, my friend will tell me that I am a sport administrator by accident. Listen every day of the weekday to Sports Cruise on Mainland FM. God bless you.
Anywhere you dare, anything where there, I swear, baby girl, I go right up for you. I go burn up, we no get the kitchen. What is the life without the family? Without the family, it be like you take me to without turntable. I can't imagine my life without you. In fact, me no go leave you for nobody. And if you put that for my own money,
KBMusic.com.
Oh, baby, just call me, I'll be there for you. Oh, baby, I'll be there for you. Follow me, in the matter where you there. Even if it's for it. Fire. I saw my baby girl, I no go ever die. And we go continue, we don't go ever expire. Just you there to me, I wanna be. I must confess, I'm like a one of Feli. I said to God, I no go care for that to do. Because if I lose you, baby, I go burn everything. Madness never fit to describe my mood. Anybody want to try? Baby, just call me.
Wake me up at 2 a.m., wake me up at 4:30 p.m., and I will tell you I will choose of Rafael Nadal or Carlos Alcaraz rather than seeing the beautiful God special gift of Sabalenka or my darling Coco Gauff. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a massive weekend. And guess what? The world number one, Aryna Sabalenka, has ended Iga Swiatek's 26-match winning streak at Roland Garros, beating the 4-time champion at 7-6, 4-6, 6-love to reach our first final in Paris, our 6th Grand Slam final. 5th in the Serena Williams. Serena Williams did the Australian Open, Roland Garros, and Wimbledon in 2016. Now for Aryna Sabalenka, she's made it to the US Open final, Australian Open final, and now she's made it to Roland Garros 2024 and 2025. And ladies and gentlemen, that the women's singles Roland Garros final had been between the world number one and world number two since 2013. The last we had was Serena Williams versus Maria Sharapova.
Yeah, be there for you.
A scene between the player who lost her first Grand Slam final in 2022 French Open at the age of 18 and the one who will play for the trophy again at 21, this time around against world number one Aryna Sabalenka, is the way she views the importance of the occasion. 3 years ago at Roland Garros, Coco Gauff was making her debut on that sort of a big stage and with that sort of prize money at stake. And guess what? It was such a massive pressure for her. I understand how the music goes, and the result is certainly in the scheme of things. Everybody is dealing with things way bigger in life than losing a final. The American said after beating 364th round French Open wildcard Louis Boyson at 6-1, 6-2 in the semi-final, I'm sure there are hundreds of players that will kill to win or lose a final. So just knowing that makes me happy, and how lucky and privileged I am to our opponent in the final just so happened to be Sabalenka. I remember the kind of feelings, according to Coco Gauff, like I was holding my breath to the match point. The head-to-head series is 5-on-5, entering the first 1 versus 2 matchup in the French Open women's final since Serena Williams beat Maria used at Roland Garros. So Coco Gauff is well aware of Sabalenka's many talents, which on full display during the 7-6, 4-6, 6-love semi-final victory over 3-time defending champion Iga Swiatek. She came she can come up with some big shots and big winners pretty much at all areas of the court, according to the Coco Golf. Talking about Sabalenka, she feels it's going to be massive for this one. Sabalenka took over the top ranking for Ygoswatek last October, and she has remained there. Sabalenka is 40-6 this season. That's 40 victories and 6 losses with 3 titles, while our 3 major championships all came on the hard court. 2023 and 2024 Australian Open, 2024 US Open as well. The work she's going to talk about the potential men's matchup with Carlos Alcaraz already waiting in the final to see who comes through. World number 1 versus world number 2 since 2023. Serena Williams, Maria Sharapova. We've not seen a repeat of this, but hey, it's a class apart. 22-year-old and 27-year-old back-to-back world number 1 since October last year. What a matchup do we have in our hands in the women's?
Would not be making the final of Roland Garros in over 5 years because she has won 4 of the last 5 Roland Garros. So she's obviously considered as the queen of clay, and the fact that she was comfortably beaten by world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka, it also goes to show. And I think that our frailties, our faults as well, we also lead bare.
Let me hold your thoughts. Okay? Russia have taken the lead against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. A superb wing play from Kruvayev on the left as he get on the byline, put the ball. Why are you doing?
It's an international friendly. There's nothing attached to it. So I just think.
But of course, won 6 games unbeaten. Want to maintain that momentum going into September.
It's Russia. It's just Russia, and I think.
One rush.
So it should just be a preparatory game. But leaving all of that, talking about Roland Garros, the Australian Open, she was the next thing after bread and butter, and she has also continued with her form up to this very moment at the Roland Garros. And having to meet Aryna Sabalenka, in the final of the women's singles, world number 1 up against world number 2. I don't think you get anything apart from that. But for Coco Golf as well, the fact that she also defeated girl, that's Lois Boyson that took 30 or 70 to the game. But against Aryna Sabalenka tomorrow, because the final will be decided tomorrow, it's going to be a different game entirely. Aryna Sabalenka as well as Coco Golf are 2 different tennis stars, and I think they are a foil to each other. One is ever ready, so it's going to be an explosive final. But I just think that Aryna Sabalenka will perhaps edge this one out because she has a better head-to-head record between both of them. But then with the fact that Carlos Alcaraz has now made Monday, I just want to see Novak Djokovic in the final, to be honest, and then win that evasive 25th Grand Slam title.
Well, it's going to be tough because the Florenzo Musetti, 3 of them alongside world number 1 Jannik Sinner made it to the top 4 of this year's Roland Garros semi-final. But hey, Jannik Sinner is on 19th major win streak. Novak Djokovic eyes a record 25th Grand Slam. With this string in line for both of them, Jannik Sinner and Novak Djokovic, they will reignite their evenly poised head-to-head rival on Friday in Roland Garros, where they would battle for a spot in the championship final. At the runway number 1 player after the ATP ranking, Jannik Sinner is riding on the 19-match Grand Slam winning streak and chasing his 3rd consecutive major title. The 23-year-old had quickly established himself as the dominant force on the ATP tour, and his recent match over Novak Djokovic had 4 to the fire. While at the head-to-head level is 4-on-4, Jannik Sinner has won the past standing 51 Grand Slam semi-finals. He has shown in the last period that he's back to the level that used to be Jannik Sinner, referring to Novak Djokovic. He plays very, very well, so it's going to be a quite tactical but very, very difficult game. He's such an experienced player with 24 Grand Slam titles. I think that says everything. Well, currently the head-to-head is 4-on-4. That's 4 wins for Jannik Sinner and 4 wins also for Novak Djokovic. By 6. Jannik Sinner is 23 and Novak Djokovic is 38. Fresh from claiming his 1,000 tour level in Geneva, Novak Djokovic has set sight on another milestone at Roland Garros, a record 25th major title. The Serbian is unbeaten at this level since 2022, having captured his 3rd crown in 2023 before an inspired run at last year's Paris Olympics, where he won gold medals that has eluded him for so long. Even in the later stages of the career, the 38-year-old continues to strive for excellence, which has an extra layer of intrigue to his clash with the top-seeded Jannik Sinner tonight. Novak Djokovic has, throughout his fortnight, reiterated his enduring passion for Kenzie McDonald. I always try to make history where I am. In all of my tournaments, I play all the practice, all the matches, especially during the biggest tournament in the world. And this is another opportunity for me to make history. 25 or nothing. Massive a massive matchup tonight, Agbatomi. World number 1 versus world number 6. Head-to-head is 4-on-4. It used to be 3 matches unbeaten. World number 1 came back from his 3-month doping ban.
Yeah.
But hey, he's back on it.
Well.
Won the Italian Open. One of the most unpredictable players that we have on the court right now in Carlos Alcaraz. So, I mean, could it be young versus young? Carlos Alcaraz is 21, Jannik Sinner is 23, or it's going to be 21.
Also won different tournaments. For what's his name, Jannik Sinner, he recently won the Italian Open and he didn't even get any form of rest. For Novak Djokovic, he also won another 80. It used to be 4-on-1, but then in the last 3 games, the both of them have also played against each other. Where Jannik Sinner also coming up. And I remember, I think it was back at the Australian Open, at the game between Novak Djokovic up against Carlos Alcaraz, where he had to retire. I think that was in the final or semi-final, where he had to retire in that one, that Novak Djokovic would equal that Margaret Court ⴑ 25 Grand Slam. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. And now Novak Djokovic knows as well that he has a chance to do all of that. And the world best tennis star in the world at the moment. I don't even think Carlos Alcaraz.
He's one number one. For every reason.
I don't think Carlos Alcaraz will be able to match.
Please don't go there.
No,
don't go there.
I don't think Carlos Alcaraz can match Jannik Sinner when he's on his groove.
So maybe we should pray for that on Sunday.
Yeah.
And on the biggest stage.
So if
Carlos Alcaraz comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people feel like on clay. At the moment,
Elijah to Elisha.
Exactly.
Hey, preacher. Hey.
So we are seeing that happen, but Jannik Sinner as well on his day can be a beast. And don't forget as well that for what's his name now for Novak Djokovic, he has won 14 Roland Garros. That's 14 French Open. So Novak Djokovic is not someone you can underrate or underestimate. So, but this game tonight promises to be explosive. Jannik Sinner, world number 1 up against 6 seed Novak Djokovic, and then awaiting the final on Sunday is going to be Carlos Alcaraz. But what I want to see in that final is Novak Djokovic because of that singular reason of me wanting it
out.
So, Okwemi,
I know what I'm saying.
Don't underestimate Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic is perhaps the GOAT of tennis.
The head-to-head in the last 3 matches between Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic have been 1 way, 3 down.
Obviously.
Alcaraz has been hot and banging.
It's also, no, come
Yes,
on.
no.
This is a major Grand Slam.
Only gold medal is not professional tennis now.
Gold medal? At the Paralympics? The biggest stage of an athlete? That's the biggest stage of an athlete, Okwemi. That's the biggest stage of an athlete.
I was just teasing you, my friend. Calm down. Man, don't they let your brother go.
Okwemi, I want to see Novak Djokovic up against
Golf who picks it tomorrow. The women's finals.
It's going to be tough. But I feel like Sabalenka will come up top in this one.
Sabalenka is unplayable at the moment.
Yeah, she is.
She's big.
Iga Swiatek had won the last 4 out of 5.
Back to back.
And Sabalenka did that comfortably. She took out Iga Swiatek comfortably.
6-love.
Yes.
7-6, 6-2, 6-love.
In all the sets. It's not an easy feat. Aryna Sabalenka nowadays is unplayable. And against Coco Gauff, no, I don't think Coco Gauff stands a chance.
Okay, let's see how it goes. I just hope my girl will be able to pull that through. Hey, there's no way on Carlos Alcaraz. So it's don't blame my choice. It's just that needless transition. So, okay, we also go on a very quick break. What would come back? It is club football. Transfer deals left and right. Deals that are already been negotiated. There's already a player that has extended his contract till 2019 as 2020.
Hello there, your number 1 sports show on radio, Sports Weekdays on 98.3 Mainland FM. The cruise never stops.
Give me freedom, give me fire, give me reason. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Good woman no day easy to find. I'm a special woman. Hold on tight, don't you ever let her go. Hold on tight, so don't you ever let her go. I say good woman no day easy to find. Happiness your money cannot buy. If you find a special woman, hold on close, so don't you ever let her go. A lot of girls don't play me, yeah. Lots of girls, them show me shaky.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the twist of fate, Tottenham Hotspur have sacked and Postecoglou despite winning the Europa League. In a dismal comes after Postecoglou presided over the club's worst ever Premier League campaign as the Finnish Frank is leading the candidate to succeed him. Tottenham has sacked head coach and Postecoglou despite him ending the club's 17 years trophy drought after winning the Europa League. It's been understood that Brentford boss Thomas Frank is leading contender to succeed him and has released a clause in his contract, although negotiations are yet to take place with Brentford. Well, there's Fulham boss Marco Silva and Bournemouth manager Anthony Iraola. Well, Postecoglou dismissal comes 16 days after he guided Spurs to a 1-0 Europa League final win over Manchester United to claim their first European trophy in 41 years. But glory in Bilbao, we saw Spurs qualify for going further. It says Tottenham finished dismal 17th after suffering 22 defeats to record their lowest ever Premier League tally of 38. Ladies and gentlemen, Sunshine Stars Football Club of Akure relegated in the MPFL, but they had 48 points. Well, for whatever reason, Tottenham must be relegated. I don't know what you want to make with that information, but enjoy. Postecoglou
agenda
is a start. It's a start game tonight. Hey, give me my shekere. Give me my shekere.
I wonder what. Well, let me not say anything.
Whatever it is you want to say, I've actually not had Salah meat, so don't think it's Salah excitement. Postecoglou departed after 2 seasons in charge, halfway through his 4-year contract. Well, his sacking comes exactly 2 years after his appointment, having joined from Celtic in June 6, 2023. They waited exactly 2 years and sacked him on the 6th of June, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you even call that? Okay, going forward, the 59-year-old departure means Spurs are searching for their 5th permanent manager in 6 years since Mauricio Pochettino left the club in 2019. Spurs confirmed Postecoglou sacking after 5 p.m. to a contribution during his 2 years at the club. He would always be remembered as the only manager in our history to deliver an European trophy alongside the legendary Bill Nicholson and Kate Beckinshaw. Thank you. However, the board has unanimously concluded that it is 8 points from the last 66 Premier League games. This is our worst ever Premier League season. At times, there were extenuating circumstances, injuries, but we cannot base our decision on emotions aligned to this triumph. Agbatomi, yet again, it's an attitude and character in the flair and the geometrics of Daniel Levy. The way he sacked Jose Mourinho 3 days to the final of the Carabao FA Cup, and eventually went on to lose that one. They've done it again for Postecoglou. Postecoglou says in his second season he delivers, and he did that. In the parade, I made a statement to the day he was signed, he's been sacked. Did you see this coming?
Yeah, obviously. I think we all saw it coming, right? I thought it was a matter of when, not if he was going to be sacked. Because I remember his statement after winning the UEFA Europa League. He said his third season would be a movie.
And he said the greatest of series always deliver their best part in their top season.
I felt he was using that to also buy time. But it's quite ludicrous that of years. This Aṅģe Postecoglou, in fact, is a third manager to have brought an European trophy to Tottenham. Despite the fact that Tottenham won the UEFA Europa League, obviously they finished the season with their worst ever Premier League record. They lost 22 games and finished with 38 points. They ended up 17th. But a lot of people know that it was a decision of Aṅģe Postecoglou.
They were not relegating.
They knew they had to.
Baba nothing in the league again.
All their emotions.
They beat them anyhow.
So what exactly is it Aṅģe Postecoglou should have done?
Well, so against PSG in August and also played the FA Champions League next season is one of the most awkward decisions that Daniel Levy had to take. Well, let's see how it goes. Maybe they're going to be successful. Maybe it's Thomas Frank, Marco Silva, or Iraola, whoever it is that is coming up. It's a call at that point. Welcome, Osebo.
Yeah, this is Abago.
Bye-bye, great to you.
Yeah, how you doing now?
Thank God.
You see this sack, I saw it coming. In fact, they only sacked him.
I think everybody saw it coming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not because I have anything against Postecoglou. I actually liked the guy when he started out and everything, but the thing in Premier League, I think it's before they realized that they were safe. Okay, before they started focusing, or there was a time when he was looking at, okay, these guys could possibly relegate. Anybody could relegate from Tottenham to Man U. Not focusing on the league or anything again. It's not Europe. But The question is, what was happening before that and how were they playing? And I guess the owners must have looked at it that, yes, we've won something in Europe for over 17, for about 17 years, hasn't been won. But what are we going to do next season? How is it going to be next season? Because look at Ten Hag, the same result.
Well, thank you very much, Osebo. They said it's only fools that does the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. For Postecoglou is another victim of set of the most erratic decisions that I've seen Daniel Levy took as the head of Tottenham Hotspur. As someone jokingly said, he broke the club's policy that why will he go and win a trophy? Yeah, well, I mean, that's just on the banter side, but hey, it's done and dusted. In favor of Russia, the host head into the break courtesy of an own wonderful save to stop and push out Fisayo Dele-Bashiru's efforts to pull one for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But like Agbatomi said, it is a friendly match, maybe not so much at stake in this particular one, but hey, for pride, for everything wonderful, for whatever it is, I want us to continue.
Game unbeaten run leads us qualify for the World Cup.
Show you.
It's a question.
You have to be in a good shape going to the qualifiers.
So what's going to be your gain if you go on in fact 20 game unbeaten and you don't qualify for the World Cup? What's the essence?
You see,
just looking for
Friday.
Unwanted records.
I want to have a good weekend. Well, thank you so much, Agbatomi, for coming through as usual. Solid show we've had today. Courtesy of some backup good tunes from Solid Star. Solid show, Solid Star. Hey, don't leave me. This program
Solid
returns.
Star but regressing.
Is a star that is solid, by the way. This program returns on Monday, same time, 6 to 7 p.m. on just for that mainland 98.3 FM. I'll still leave you in the hands of Solid Show. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're a lover of tennis, hey, there's a lot of Roland Garros for you. First, second semi-final tonight between world number 1 Jannik Sinner and world number 6 Novak Djokovic. Enjoy yourself. Tomorrow is going to be world number 1 in Zabalenka and world number 2 Coco Gauff. And on Sunday, it's going to be either the world number 2 against world number 6 or against world number 1, which is going to be most likely Jannik Sinner, Novak Djokovic against who plays. Top is 7 p.m. Voice from the top. Stick around with us.